He loves me. He loves me not. Only one way to find out. War of the Roses on KDWB.
Sometimes you get past like the initial thrill of a relationship where you like, you think about each other all the time and
you're so excited to see them.
Oh my God, you think about them all the time. And then sometimes it settles into something that's pretty cool. And other times it just kind of, you drift apart. I think we might be dealing with a situation where things are kind of drifting apart. And we just want to find out what's going on with Jesse and his girlfriend, Sally. Hi, Jesse.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. So you don't think that Sally's cheating necessarily, although that might be. But tell me a little bit of the background, like how you feel that Sally, after a year together, is maybe kind of losing interest in the whole relationship.
Yeah, so her and I, like, we go out to eat quite a bit. She's really chatty. She just loves to strike up conversations with people that sit near us a lot. And, so I guess that doesn't sound too, like, out of the ordinary, but a couple weeks ago, we were at Crave. We always go to Crave.
That's your place. Okay. Good choice. Solid choice. Okay.
Yeah, it's a great spot. And, we always sit at the bar because it's like, why wait? Why? So we always sit at the bar. And I guess, I don't know, I feel like most couples, there's always like a seat but you don't sit right next to people. You kind of like, put a seat in between you and the other people. Well,
so you always said, okay. So anyway, yeah, I know what you mean because whenever Susan and I go to a restaurant, we almost always sit at the bar.
Yeah.
And if there's a seat between you and the guy or the woman, you put a seat between each other.
Right.
So, but she does not.
No, Sally does not. She'll sit right next to whoever is at the bar. And, yeah, like last time we were there, she just struck up a conversation with this other guy who was sitting right next to her. And they chatted for like, I don't know, like it was like an hour the whole time we were there. And I just couldn't get into the conversation, just like where I was positioned and like where they were. I just couldn't get into the conversation. And I don't know, it just kind of...
Was she flirting with him?
I don't know if it was like flirting, but she was definitely into the conversation, She ignored me pretty much the whole time.
So kind of to the exclusion of you. And I can picture you because I'm just picturing, she's in the middle. This guy, was he by himself?
Yeah, he was.
That's weird that she decided to sit next to the guy by himself and then kind of excludes you. So they're chatting it up, having a good old time.
It was kind of busy. It was kind of a busy bar. It wasn't like, so it wasn't like we just like sat next to like the one person there, but yeah, it was.
I have a question for you, Jesse, because
weird.
You see this with couples sometimes when you go out to eat that like somebody is on their phone and the other one's just like sitting there. Are you the type of person that sits on your phone? So maybe Sally does talk to other people nearby because she doesn't have a conversation going with you?
I mean, I'll get on my phone, but not enough to like, I'm not on my phone to like not be in conversation with her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would have been after a while because this happened to me and Chase one time because Chase, my son, and his wife, Maddie is Chatty Cathy.
Mm-hmm.
And so Maddie and I will start chatting. Chase will get bored and pull out his phone while we're at breakfast or lunch or whatever. But let's go back. I mean, big picture, it just sounds like she's kind of losing interest in the relationship to the point where you go out and you want to know whether she's really lost interest. And therefore, we can like set the trap and see if she, if we offer her a couple's activity, if she says, yeah, I'd love to go with Jesse and go do whatever. Or if she chooses somebody else. So what we can do is we'll set the trap and see who she chooses for a couple's activity. Hopefully she'll choose you, but I'm going to say if she doesn't choose you, I mean, maybe, Jenny, we could even make it like, go out with a friend or go out with, either your boyfriend or your brother or your friend and so bring other ideas to the table to see whether she chooses somebody else.
Okay.
All right. We'll do that next when we come back on part 2 of War of the Roses on KDWB.
Back to Dave Ryan's War of the Roses on KDWB.
All right, we're going to make the phone call in a second. It's kind of a weird premise. Basically, she's been distant and he doesn't feel like she's really into him anymore. So I guess the latest was they went out to like a bar and they sat at the bar. And usually when you're a couple and you go to the bar, you usually put at least one bar stool between you and the couple that are, person next to you.
As long as there's open spots.
Sure.
Otherwise, then you sit next to someone.
And then, so there was open spots at the bar, and she sat right next to another guy. And then, of course, he sat on the other end. So she's between the two guys. One is a stranger, and they start chatting. And she's having a good old time for an hour chatting with this guy.
A stranger.
After a while, he kind of gave up and was playing on his phone because he was not in the conversation. So he's like, well, is she even interested enough in me that she would want to go on a date? So it's a different War of the Roses, not really about cheating necessarily. Let's make the phone call and find out what she's thinking.
Okay, that's all the time I need from you today, Sally. And like I said, we are offering you a fun date night out, a few different activities you can choose from. So the first thing I need from you is what activity you want to do. We have mini golfing, glass blowing, or axe throwing.
Honestly, I'm probably just going to pass on it.
Oh, okay. I could probably reach out to some of our other partners and see if there's something else we could do, or you don't want to take a friend with you.
Honestly, thank you, but I'm just going to pass.
Okay. Well, I guess thanks for taking the survey. I don't have anything else for you, though.
So, Sally, you don't want to do anything with me?
Jesse? What?
Yeah, that's Jesse. That gets a little confusing. Let me try to explain what's going on. Jesse called a radio station, KDWB. That's us. And we're calling you, Sally. My name's Dave, and that was Jenny that gave you the fake survey to find out if you were still interested in the relationship because...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he called us and he was telling us about how you guys will go out to dinner and how you sat. Do you remember the other day you sat at the bar at Crave and you kind of ignored Jesse for the entire meal? Do you remember that?
I mean, we definitely went to Crave. I wouldn't say I ignored him the whole meal, but
you felt that she did. Talk to me a little bit explain how you felt like you were ignored at the bar, Jess.
Yeah, I was sitting outside of the conversation. It felt like you were talking to the other guy, and I just couldn't get into the conversation just because of, I don't know, you guys were just really into it. And I couldn't, find a way into the conversation. So.
And what's interesting is that you had a chance to go, axe throwing or glass blowing or whatever with anybody, including Jesse, but you chose not to go do an activity with Jesse.
Right. Well,
he's kind of I'll cut right to the chase. He is wondering, and it seems like maybe the spark is gone out of the whole thing, and sometimes that happens.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, it's not like I'm seeing anyone else. I'm not. But I hate to say it, and but you're boring.
Ouch.
I'm sorry. We talk about the same things over and over, the Vikings and bullet points from work, and you talk about the same parent issues on a rerun, and you're super nice, but honestly, this thing has just run its course. And I felt this way for a while now, and I really didn't want to do this on the radio, but, you put me on the radio, so I guess this is what has to happen. But I honestly, I think it's time to end things.
How do you feel about that, Jess? I mean, Probably no big surprise. I think it's a little bit cruel to say that you're boring. I think maybe that she has become bored with the relationship. That doesn't mean you're boring, but I think some relationships just run their course. You go, you know what's not really going anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe this. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, I can't believe that you're doing this right now. I mean, we've had a great time together. Like,
well, she apparently doesn't think so, though.
Relationships sometimes, and before something really happens where like we really hurt each other, I think it's better to just part ways.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's not. I mean, couples break up all the time, and it doesn't sound like, Jesse, if you're honest with yourself, it doesn't sound like you've been getting a whole lot out of this relationship lately either. You know, you go out for a year, and then you just kind of go, well, not really working out anymore.
How about we get off this call and, Sally, can I just call you? Can I just you and I just talk one-on-one, like not on the radio?
I just don't think that's a good idea.
Ooh, youch. And that is War of the Roses.